What the fuck, Sony? Hey there, everybody. SegaSean here. Once again, bringing you a rant video. This time I'm going to be talking about the PlayStation Neo. Yeah, PlayStation Neo. Alright, let's set the facts straight. We talk about Nintendo an awful lot on our channel, but that's only because they update all the time with their news. It's like a constant stream, whereas Sony and Microsoft, they give updates, and yet we do talk about them, but they just don't update a whole lot. There's not a whole lot going on in the world of Sony or Microsoft. I mean, once again, there is, but they just, I don't know, it's kind of like what we like, and then it's kind of not, so, you know, yeah. We're not a Nintendo-based, like, focus. Believe me, we definitely aren't. It's just that, once again, this stream, the flood of news that comes from Nintendo is very consistent. So, yeah. But here's a subject right now. PlayStation Neo. I've already said that. But anyway, PlayStation Neo. Why? Why do we need PlayStation Neo? Why? This is definitely rantable because I was recently thinking about rants to do, and this is one of them. Why is PlayStation Neo going to be a thing? Why? We don't need it. We don't need it. Look at how friggin' powerful PlayStation 4 is. Look how powerful Xbox One is. I hear they're doing, I believe they're doing something as well. Why? Why do we need it? For better loading times or something? I don't know, processing power. Obviously it's going to be improved, but do we need that? Why not save it for the next system that'll be coming out, you know... Oh, wait a minute, I just thought. What if this has backwards compatibility? I mean, I would kind of expect the PlayStation 4 to already have that ability, but maybe that will be one of the, you know, one of the aspects of the PlayStation 4 Neo, that it will be able to do backwards compatibility right out of the box. I just thought of that. But even still, well, of course, after the PlayStation 4 has sold so many systems, like, had very high sales, now you're going to release a Neo, which is going to probably be the same amount, if not more money, and customers will buy it, most likely. I don't understand this. Now, on the subject of the NX, which we've talked about, it's understandable. For one, the Wii U has been out for not long, but it's enough to where the Wii U needs something new. There doesn't have to be another Wii U. There should be an up-to-date Nintendo console. And while the Wii U is great and all fun and stuff, it just doesn't have the power that other systems are boasting, I should say. So that's understandable. The Wii U is behind on many aspects. It's hard to develop for with the second screen. There's a lot to take to account for. It's just kind of a heavy-handed process, and a lot of developers, especially third-party companies, unless if they dearly love Nintendo, won't really, you know, they kind of snub their nose a lot to Nintendo, and that's understandable. Nintendo has brought it on themselves with a lot of things with the Wii U, and I'm willing to admit that. In fact, if any of you guys don't see that, that's kind of, yeah, it's kind of an obvious thing. Please don't be so blind. This is my opinion, though, so yeah, to each his own. Anyway, so the NX, that deserves an update. I'm sorry, the Wii U deserves an update. And even though it seems like a little bit too soon, it's needed. Although then again, Nintendo is going to take a pretty hard hit. I really don't see E3 being a big thing for Nintendo this year, for obvious reasons. They're only showing off Zelda U. Maybe they'll show off a little bit more, which I hope they would. And I guess the NX is going to be shown off. I mean, if at the very least, at least mention and name that you have, maybe it will be the NX. I don't know. They have to do something besides the next Zelda. Zelda is a very powerful franchise, but they don't need that. They don't need to just do that. At least show the games that are in development for NX. I understand and I know it's true that a lot of Wii U titles have been moved from the Wii U to the NX. That's great. Fantastic. I want those games to be amazing. But at least let us know. You need to have something for E3. Of course, then again, as we mentioned in the latest podcast, or one of the podcasts, I don't know when this will be uploaded, but one of the most recent podcasts, Zone 12. Oh man, I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, we mentioned, oh yeah, that's right. That, or maybe we didn't mention, oh man, I am jumping all over the place. Shows how unscripted this is. Either we didn't, or maybe I was just talking with Kaijulu on the side, but yeah. E3 may not be such a big thing anymore with developers and that stuff, and companies and everything like that. So maybe we could be seeing our last E3s. Nintendo kind of pulled out of it early, although they do have stuff on the show floor. And they also have the Nintendo digital event, which I hope they do this year, but it looks like Nintendo's not really doing anything. But before I get into the Nintendo subject anymore, because this is supposed to be focused on the PlayStation Neo, I just felt I had to get this off my chest. I mean, hello, it is a rant after all. But anyway, so yeah, the NX, understandable for the most part. But the PlayStation 4 Neo is not. It's not. You look at beautiful games like Uncharted 4 and Killer Instinct. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, Microsoft. You look... Oh, wait a minute, but they're getting an update too or something like that, right? Not much word on that. So, yeah, why are they doing it too? Why do these companies need to push out something that's only been out for like, what, 3? I think maybe 3 or at tops 4 years? And they boast such incredible power. Why? Why? That's another thing too that just boggles my mind. Why are companies so adamant about releasing multiple systems? Doesn't it cost money to develop for both? Or is it just like PlayStation 4 games will get a better, like, upscale is the word to use? I don't know. A better upscaling when put into the PlayStation 4 Neo? I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out at E3, and maybe then I should have waited to do this rant. Hey, you know that you'll hear us cover the subjects or whatever at E3, because we will be doing many events for E3. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That kind of content is coming during E3. So of course we'll cover the PlayStation 4 Neo at that time, but I don't know. I don't know. With here we go back to the subject of Nintendo, but hey, it's what I know. I'm sorry, but. With Nintendo's actually the worst when it comes to developing for all these systems and supporting all these systems, because now you have the Wii U, the NX, Wii U, NX, new Nintendo 3DS, new Nintendo 3DS XL, Nintendo 3DS XL, Nintendo 3DS. Alright, that's enough. That's quite enough. Then you have like all these, I mean, you can honestly tell that only in Japan Nintendo knows what they're kind of doing with the new 3DS. Here, they don't give a shit. They really don't know. They don't know what colors to sell here, what attention grabbers to sell here. There's nothing going on. I mean, yes, there are, the library for the 3DS is so good, but besides games, selling different colors of the systems and stuff, being so exclusive to other countries, faceplates, all this stuff, it's very hard to get a handle on. And they don't seem they know how to do it. For being a toy company of all things, then again, look at the amiibo shortages, but that's up for debate as well. What's even gonna happen to the amiibos? What is going on? So, alright, so why? Why the Neo? I don't know. I can't. Once again, I probably should have waited until E3 to rant about this a bit more, because we'll have more information about it. But I'm also kind of curious about Sony's presentation at E3, and that's another thing we could bring up in the event. For Sony's presentation, I feel that it's going to be the same thing, the same kind of deal as Nintendo was last year. Why do I say that? Well, heavy hitters that they showed off last year, which are amazing, by the way, is one of Lou's titles, The Last Guardian. That's, Lou is highly anticipating that, so that's coming out. When? It hasn't come out yet, but it was shown off last year. Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII, the remake, or whatever, that was also announced last year, to many applauding fans, crying as well, and they haven't released that yet. Shenmue 3, which was a Kickstarter thing anyway, but that was shown off as well, once again, has not released or really gotten much information on that either. So maybe they'll give an update on these games. I'm probably guessing they will. I can't see many other heavy hitters. The only thing, me and Kaijulu were talking about this the other day. Me and Kaijulu were talking about this because I was like, I was discussing the same subject. What else could they bring to the table? And of course, I thought to myself, yeah, another Assassin's Creed, especially with the movie coming out. Yeah, definitely another Assassin's Creed. I don't even know if that's already been confirmed or not, but that's going to be a thing, I'm sure. What else? Oh, he brought up the idea of Crash Bandicoot, and that has been said many times before. One of the members in Game Strikers, I've known him for a while, G. I call him G. I won't say his real name. If he's watching right now, hey G, how you doing? But he's brought up the subject of another Crash Bandicoot game. There have been many rumor-filled articles, numerous and rumorous, articles talking about another Crash Bandicoot, and I could see it. I can't see a full-fledged Crash Bandicoot game. And people, don't even get your hopes up for Naughty Dog doing the game, because the closest thing you're going to get to that becoming a reality is the little cameo, like, Easter egg they have in Uncharted 4, where you get to play as Crash Bandicoot, or you get to play Crash Bandicoot on a PlayStation 1. That was amazing. That's really cool, but I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure that is the only thing you're going to get from Naughty Dog pertaining to Crash Bandicoot, because they have stated many times about how they will never do another kiddie game, or quote-unquote kiddie game. Crash to me never was a kiddie game, and I don't know why every platformer has to be labeled as kiddie, because that's far from the truth. But yeah, they said they will never do a cartoony-like game, and I think that's a shame, because Naughty Dog has such a rich history with games. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm sure, you know, everybody would be ecstatic to have them take back the Crash Bandicoot helm, but unfortunately, no. Then again, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, how did they get Crash Bandicoot, you know, the first one for Uncharted 4? I'm thinking about that now, and I'm like, that's a good question, because it's like, how did they do that? I'll have to look into that a little later, but once again, that'll most likely come up in more explanations. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, they're not going to do another Crash Bandicoot game. It's 99% sure, because they've stated it a bunch of times. But as for Crash returning, I would, because he's not even really a PlayStation. Everyone remembers him as the PlayStation mascot, PS1 mascot, of course. But ever since, you know, Naughty Dog, you know, I wouldn't say lost the rights, but you know what I mean, since they gave up Crash or whatever happened, I forgot the whole thing. You Crash fans know what I'm talking about. Ever since that happened or whatever, Crash has kind of dipped high and low. He's kind of in the realm of unknowingness right now. Nobody knows what the poor Bandicoot is up to, so hopefully he... Hey, I am all for Crash Bandicoot coming, because it looks like my PlayStation 4 is going to be getting quite the workout now. Now that the Wii U is kind of doing a little dry spell right now. Who knows what's going to happen at E3, so definitely PlayStation 4 going to be getting quite the workout with a lot of games that I can catch up on now, which is good. You know, a lot of people are like, oh no, another dry spell for a system. Like, that's never happened before. Oh, come on. Dry spells are the perfect time to get yourself another system and buy those games. Yes, it's more money, and if you don't have the money, I understand, and I'm sorry. But I'm saying, if you have, like, tons of systems and stuff, start working towards growing a collection of that system. It's okay to do that, because even if it's an older system, that means you can find hidden gems, or maybe laugh at a terrible game along the way while you're waiting. There are hundreds and hundreds of video games out there. Why not pick an old copy of something up at a retro store or something like that and try it out? Who knows? Maybe you'll find a game that will basically take up your time until the time when the newer games comes out. I can't wait to get Transformers Devastation. I might get Dragon Ball, I can't even think of the name. You know, the last Dragon Ball game that came out for the PlayStation 4 since it went down in price. Blah, 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 all that stuff. So, I can't wait. But anyway, back to what I was talking about E3. What I can see with Crash is a collection, which would be awesome too. An HD collection. Fantastic. I honestly can't wait for that, because if that is a thing, because I cannot see Sony making another Crash game. I can't see them do that, but it will be like an HD remastered collection, and if it does well, perhaps Sony will listen. So hey, let's go, Crash HD collection, the Crash collection. I like that ringtone. I don't know if has there ever even been a Crash collection. Maybe there has. I'm not the biggest Crash player, but if that's the case, hey, bring it on with another one. That's fine. Backwards compatibility. The president doesn't like that it's Sony. I would hope they would take back their word on that, because hey, you add that backwards compatibility, people are set. For people like me that missed out on the PlayStation 3 because, well, for me, I just didn't choose to have it. I didn't care for Sony's controller and stuff. I love the PlayStation 4 controller, but any other Sony controller, I don't really like. I like what it's done for the video game, the history of video games. I love what it's done to transform video games even more and more, even though the stick was used for the N64 first, was it? Or was it the Saturn? Well, whatever. You know what I mean? I love what it's done for video games as a whole, but I never liked how far out the thumbstick was for PlayStation controllers. Now, you PlayStation fans, please put down your pitchforks, please. If you compare the PlayStation controller to, say, an Xbox 360 controller, not so much an Xbox controller, because that thing was big as hell. I know there was a smaller model, but I never really tried out the smaller model controller. Compare it to the GameCube controller as well, you will find that the thumbstick is not that pushed out like the PlayStation controllers, or PlayStation 2, or PlayStation 3. It's very much more pushed in, so it's easier to move your thumb around. That's what I've always loved about every other controller, except for PlayStation. But with the PlayStation 4, they've, well, kind of learned their lesson, and now it's like one of the most comfortable controllers I've ever laid my hands on. So, if they were to re-release, and I'm not talking about charging, I'm not talking about live streaming the games, because that's probably what's holding them back. If they didn't have that live streaming service, that stupid thing that makes my games laggy, like I tried Sonic, I've tried it before, folks. It makes my games lag at times. It just doesn't feel right. I am a nerd for physical copies, and I love my physical copies. If PlayStation were to enable backwards compatibility for the PlayStation 4, sold. Done. Done deal. Because I've been really wanting to build a PlayStation 3 collection, but I'm not willing to get a PlayStation 3 just yet. I can wait on that for later on, because I haven't missed anything. I mean, hell, I have missed a lot. But for games like Uncharted 4, there's an Uncharted collection already. So I don't really mind. But, yeah, if they were to enable it, I'd give the PlayStation 4 a lot of less slack, because with the PlayStation 4, I've learned that backwards compatibility is one of the most console-saving things ever, especially for Nintendo. Look at how they've always implemented it. And, I mean, look at the Wii. Even though it was an updated GameCube, they didn't have to put the GameCube controllers there, but they did anyway. The controller ports. And with the Wii U, you can buy Wii games and you can play them, so it's not that big of a deal. Oh man, my mouth is watering. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I just had to take a drink. But anyway, so let me start wrapping this up, I guess. Backwards compatibility can save a system big time, and I know Sony's PlayStation 4 doesn't really need any saving. They have sold so much, but for a person that wants to give Sony a chance, like myself, which I don't have any hate towards Sony. I've just always been either a Nintendo person and stuff like that, and I do love a lot of things that PlayStation does. I wish Nintendo could do as well. But to each his own, the companies, that's what separates them as companies. But if they would enable backwards compatibility, that would be amazing, but unfortunately not. So maybe at E3 they'll do that, because as getting back to the subject of E3, I don't see them. It'll be like what Nintendo had last year, whereas we knew about Star Fox Zero, we knew about a lot of the games that were being shown off. I think even Mario Maker? Was it Mario Maker or no? I believe, yeah, Mario Maker as well was being shown off. Yeah, I think so. Sorry, but yeah. I believe, yeah, it was all talked about and stuff, Mario Maker and everything. Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, no, correct, because, yeah, Mario Maker hadn't come out yet. They were showing off games that we knew already about. But people gave them a lot of slack. They started hating on them. As usual, it's always fun to hate on Nintendo. So they hated and blah, blah, blah. The same old story because, we already knew about these games. They only showed a couple new ones, but it's not like it's going to save anything, blah, blah, blah. So I want to see what Sony's going to bring to the table, because it's going to be literally the same situation. I'm calling it. Near the same situation as Nintendo. Because Sony brought out the big guns last year. And hey, I was right there with them. Even though I've never played Final Fantasy VII, you could feel the emotion from the crowd. I know it's always been a joke and a hope that Square Enix would remake the game. Fantastic. Never been happier for it. Shenmue 3 actually happening. What was the other one? Oh my god, I can't remember. The Last Guardian, finally being made. Calling it right now, it's going to be exactly like Nintendo last year, because we know about these games. Yes, it will be a real treat to see more of them. Just like Star Fox Zero, you get to see more of them. That's great. Great. But what more? What more could they bring to the table? I'm hoping for Parappa the Rapper 3. If it's Parappa the Rapper 3, I've always said this to Kaiju, to anybody, if it's Parappa the Rapper 3, I'm gonna go nuts for a bit. I'll even do a video on it. Why the hell do I like Parappa? This is probably the first time that I've ever mentioned this on the channel or whatever, but I absolutely love the Parappa the Rapper series. It's probably one of the first Sony games that I ever actually loved. Was Parappa the Rapper, because of its weirdness, its unique style, the music gets stuck in your head, all of this stuff. Yes, it's a bit out of place for today's day, but hey, here's hoping. He was in PlayStation All-Stars, and you know what? Everybody goes nuts for Parappa. When he was revealed at the event, I think it was at E3, or maybe they showed it a little bit ahead of time because people weren't too crazy in the audience, but when they showed Parappa, people went a little nuts. Not a whole lot, but you heard like a little cheer, like, yeah, Parappa, a symbol of PlayStation 1. Bring them back, Sony. That's what I've always said too. I don't think I've ever said it on the channel, but I've said it to my friends and stuff. If Sony were to bring back some mascot love instead of just throwing them off into spin-offs and whatnot, they would be near best status. They would get it because they have a wide audience for shooters, for a whole bunch of different gaming platforms. But if you have that mascot advantage like Nintendo does, which they probably never will, that they could harness a hell of a lot more if they utilize their mascots even more. If they are like Nintendo, they do a little bit overkill, but then again, it's not like the games are bad. But with Sony, they do and they don't. They do and they don't with the mascots. But if they got Crash back, if they got Spyro back, please don't make them ugly like in Skylanders. If they had all of them, and if they kept them, you know, it'd be crazy. I don't think a PlayStation All-Stars is going to happen again. I know that game was hated on, but Kaiju Lou likes it. I've seen gameplay of it. I've even played it. And I'd have to give it more time to play. I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying, you know, I tried it. The controls are very odd to me. Very, very odd. But that's just from a person that's hardly played it. Don't take my word for it. But, you know, the controls are really weird. If they were to make another one, which I don't think they will, because after the sales of PlayStation All-Stars, they kind of just gave up on the company, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, so I don't know if that's gonna happen, but hey, it'd be great to see that again. But give me a Parappa the Rapper 3. I'm waiting, Sony. You can invest in this. But a Parappa the Rapper 3. Crash 4, hell, just call it Crash 4. You have people ecstatic. Give us another Sly Cooper. Come on now. Come on, man. Need me some Carmelita Fox. Need me some of that Sly Cooper. Come on now. Give me some of that. Any of that. Jack and Dick. Well, that's Naughty Dog. They don't want to do that stuff anymore. See what I mean? So, well, here's hoping for Sony. I hope they do great. Because I do have a PlayStation 4, and I would like more platformers. Look at what Ratchet & Clank did. A game based on the movie, based on the first game. The game is amazing. I haven't played a whole lot of it, and don't worry. You know, I will. I definitely will. But it's just that the graphics, them graphics are amazing. They're like Pixar quality, and that was the same kind of reaction I gave to Sonic Unleashed when it came out. And Sonic Unleashed graphics hold up to this day. Sure, they may be a little flat at times and stuff, and things may not seem so solid, but it still is one of the best looking games or whatever, in my opinion. Especially that CG opening. But alright, folks, I know I said I'd wrap it up a little while ago, but now's the time to stop, I think. Thank you so much for listening. You guys are great. Please watch our podcast. We work really hard on that. Any of our stuff, we delve our hearts into it so much. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, do whatever you can for us. Love you guys. Goodbye. SegaSean out.
Very smooth, very, very romantic. I love you. See you next time.
Much love to you too, Sensei.